Happy Friday. So that can only mean one thing. It is time for the weekend pickups. A couple of different things coming in from eBay. So I'll show you kind of a couple of categories. So let's start with a little baseball. So first for the Vladdy Jr. collection, you have a patch from Immaculate. So this is a nice one here. You got a nice little two-color patch going on. So this is number 2 of 8. It's actually fairly limited, but it wasn't an expensive card at all. The advantage of the Pajama Party is that you don't really have to pay top dollar for a lot of these, but it is a nice looking card with a neat little patch. I think these are still not game used, but at the same time, still pretty good. Yeah, player used material. But nonetheless, nice, good looking card for what it is. Maybe I actually put that there. Same vein, sticking with Vladdy Jr., we have from National Treasures. This one's 8 memorabilia pieces. I actually don't know what all the different parts are. I guess that's the bat. You know, you got jersey, you got, I guess, glove. I'm not sure what that is, and I'm definitely not sure what that is. It would be nice if they specified on these cards a little bit. Same vein, Pajama Party, so if you're into that, here you go. Here's another one. But at the same time, it would be really nice if they would actually tell you what the different parts of player-used material was on this. Still a neat-looking card, though. This one's numbered to 99. So that's cool. And let me put that there for now. And we'll replace that in a second. Okay, now we're going to get into hockey here. So a couple of, first I'm going to start off with some hits for my vintage set that I'm working on. So this is the 60 Parkhurst. So I've just about finished my run of Maple Leafs, and this is a really sharp looking card here. It's another nice one. I've shown these off before, so you know the logos on the back, which I really like. But there you go. The colors really pop on a lot of these, so they're pretty nice looking. So there's Dave Creighton. And it's a notification over there, probably from eBay. I'll check that out a little later. So Larry Reagan. Very cool. We got Bill Harris. Again, some really sharp cards here. Look at the color on that one. It's pretty good. And George Armstrong to finish this one up. So let me swap out one of these here. So these pickups here, including this George Armstrong, actually get me just past the 50% mark on this set. So I am chipping away at it. I'm definitely making some progress. But there's still about half the set to go. But all the big superstars for the most part are out of the way. But there are a few condition-sensitive cards upcoming that I'll be working on. So continuing the hockey brand, so let's do a couple of Mike Modano cards. So we got to have a little bit of these things here. So this is in the game used hockey. So this is the 2019-2020 edition, I believe. Yeah, so 2019-2020. So now we're officially into the 2020 hockey card season now. So this is the memorabilia autograph patch, and this is number 3 of 4. Nice looking cards overall, I gotta say, but you know, I mentioned before that I like a lot of these things, and again, this follows the same vein as unlicensed, so you don't have the logos or anything, which is fine. That's okay. It still makes for a nice little clean card design, but I will say that it kind of gets hard to be as excited about it when you've got a lot of limited versions of these. So this has a bunch of colored parallels. I don't know exactly how many they have this year, but I decided to pick one up definitely as a representative, and this is a pretty neat one, and the patch piece is nice, so that's cool. So let me swap this guy out. So now that leaves us with one card that I'm going to make the final of the mail day and the highlight here for the week. I did get a little nostalgic, and part of that was brought about by the Essential Credentials podcast. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. They are on YouTube. And they mainly talk about 90s baseball cards, really, kind of nostalgically looking back at a lot of the sets and series that were there. And I remember a lot of those sets nostalgically as well, but that also kind of got me to thinking about my Modano collection. And my favorite times were when I started up the collection. I actually started collecting the Modano in the mid-90s. So that tells you that I'm approaching 25 years of collecting the one player. Slowly building that collection over time. But that mid-90s to late 90s period is still my favorite. It's nostalgically the most fun. But there are definitely some cards. So while new cards like this are really nice, obviously this is a brand new card, 2019-2020. Some of those cards, though, from the late 90s were really good looking, and they had some really good ideas. So this is a good example of one that back then I would have definitely loved to have, and I still love to have now. So we got 1998, 1999. This is the Bowman Best Atomic Refractor. So I just kind of shifted around a little bit just so you can get a little bit of it in light. That is a nice looking card, and really rare and tough to come by back then. These were actually numbered to 100, which back then actually still meant something. Now out of 100 would be a couple of bucks, but back then these were tough. Hopefully you can get a good sense of the colors with that. Now the battery is starting to die on me, so I'll come back with some closing thoughts, and I'm going to open up a couple of packs actually, just to kind of finish off this mail day. And then we'll lead into probably another video on the weekend. But for now, hopefully, I'll come back and I'll have this on display when I return. All right, gave the camera battery a little top up, so we'll finish this off. So now a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new. You got the George Armstrong from 1960 Parkhurst, along with the 98-99 Bowman Best Atomic Refractor Mike Modano. One last thing I'll mention out of it. So as I mentioned, part of the inspiration that brought the Atomic Refractor in was that it was one of the cards that I've been missing around that era, and I was inspired by the Essential Credentials podcast. Like I mentioned, I'll throw a link in the description if you want to check out the YouTube channel. They've got a bunch of podcasts. I've got about 17 or 18 podcasts now. And it's interesting. What I will say is that the enthusiasm they have for the 90s, especially in baseball, since that's the main focus of the podcast, the enthusiasm they have for it is admirable, and it's kind of fun. It also kind of, like I said, brought me back a little bit nostalgically. Even though I did collect cards in the 90s, I did pick up a little baseball here and there, so I was familiar with what they were talking about. In Canada, really, what it came down to is this is this kind of stuff we were lusting after at the time, and that's what we were trying to hunt down and trying to pick up. And these were tough pulls back then. Even the regular refractor was out of 400, which was still kind of tough at the time, but these things were just crazy. Anything in that mid to late 90s era that's out of 100 was still a really tough pull, especially compared to what it is now. All right, with all that said, let me finish this off here with a couple of packs that I picked up while I was at the card shop grabbing some card supplies. I'm starting to index and starting to sort through some of this Modano collection because I want to get everything in kind of a nice order so that I can start really figuring out how many I actually have. I've been guesstimating, but I decided rather than keeping guessing, I'd rather just figure it out once and for all. So while I was at the card shop, I also picked up a couple of packs of Update Series 2019. So let's open these up right now and let's check out what we get. Oops. Try not to break the camera. That'd be good. So I don't know offhand what variations are here, so I'll have to check them out after. Dallas Keuchel. Duplantier. Okay, so rookie. Jason Martin. Cool. Okay. Louis Garcia. Ian Kinsler. Josh Harrison. Good action shot. Matt Chapman. Home run derby. Okay. 150 years. Matt Festa. Rookie. Jose Suarez. Robinson Cano. Kyle Barraclough. I think that's right. Jonathan Shoup. Jorge Polanco from the All-Star Game. And Josh Bell from the All-Star Game. All right, that's pack one. Like I said, after I'll check and see if there's any variations or anything in that. Let's do this. Oops. Let's try not to drop everything. All right, finally figured it out. Struggled with that pack a little more than I should have. All right, the young Yastrzemski. There you go. Michael Pineda. Yosei Kikuchi. Interesting. Rookie debut. Okay, cool. Homer Narvaez. Tyson Ross. Bueller. Okay, Kyle Bird, and looks like I got one of the 84 Topps cards here. So we got Not Even Gonna Try. So that's from the 84 Topps. Mike Shawarn. Carter Kieboom. David Dahl. There's a Ronald Acuna from the All-Star Game. Alex Bregman from the All-Star Game. And Matthew Beattie to finish it off. So it looks like nothing too crazy. Some decent cards in there. And like I said, I'll check out and see if there's any variations or not. But the big thing here was the mail day. I'm really happy with a lot of these pickups here. I will say, just as a heads up, the rest of the month, well, I should say, December should probably be very interesting. I do have a couple of Consi orders coming in, and now I've got a little bit of a backlog of eBay items that are coming in. A lot of them are going to be inspired by that resurgence in 1990s nostalgia that I now have. So there is going to be a little bit of a theme with some of those pickups that are going to be related to that. And then that's going to kind of play into some of my goals for 2020. But that'll be another video that I'll get into a little bit later. So for now, that's it for me. If you have any questions, as always, by all means, please feel free to leave a comment. I'd be happy to reply to anything you have. And then I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.